Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Thursday, everyone. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So let me just, I guess, go in chronological order here, what happened around here today. So Rafa was off today, Jacob was in, so me and Jacob in the shop, and Santiago, my upholstery magician, working out in his little shop out there, and likewise Renee, our magician of metalwork and bodywork and paint, working out there. So yeah, that's what happened today. So anyway, first thing I did is to put this adjustable beam on this beautiful 64 Beetle, and I found yet another thing that Impy managed to screw up, and luckily I was able to work around it. But guys, I don't know what's going on with these guys. I may just have to stop buying Impy parts. It's like they keep finding new ways to F stuff up, because I don't feel like this particular problem I've had before. It's going to be really hard to show you here, so I may show you on the beam, the stock beam that I took off the car, and explain what happened. Let me grab a light and we'll see if we can see it here. Hold on one second. Okay, here we go, guys. I think I'm going to be able to show this and explain it well enough for you to understand. So if you're not familiar with how Beetles are put together, in the front here, so you can see the front suspension beam here, this long black thing. There's actually two basically big tubes there that have the torsion leaves in them. You've heard me talk about those. And it's got four big bolts that go into the pan head, which is this part here. And then the body also bolts to it there and there, because basically the body is bolted to the pan, stopping right there. And then there's essentially like all this body, sort of from here out, that isn't otherwise attached to anything except for the through the front suspension beam right there. And so that's actually a pretty critical mounting point. And so the way that those work is, if you can see this, is there's this upright column here on the front beam, which has holes in it that the bolts go through, again, this way into the pan head. And then on top of that, there's essentially like a flat spot, and there's a little collar that sticks up that's threaded that bolt right there goes into. Now, between the flat spot of that little column there and the body, which is this tab sticking out here, there's supposed to be a good, it's like a 1/4 inch space, guys. And there's a thick rubber pad, which is also about a 1/4 inch thick, that goes in that space. And then there's another rubber pad, which you can probably kind of see there. It's got kind of like a U-shaped profile, wraps around that big washer there. But anyway, it's also, say about a 1/4 inch wide. Anyway, so this piece of the body here is sandwiched between a couple rubber pads, and then below on one side is the this sort of upright member of the beam, and then above that's this big flat washer, and that's what kind of holds the body. Anyway, so like I said, there's supposed to be enough space between the top of this column on the beam and the body for like a 1/4 inch thick rubber gasket, so rubber pad. So Impy, in all of their wisdom, I don't know why, but they made this thing too tall, guys, and there was no room. I put the pads in there initially. There was no way in hell that beam was going in because you can see how this thing isn't going anywhere on the body. If this thing is too tall, it pushes the beam down. And so with the correct thickness pad in there, there was no way in the world that beam was going in, because again, it was sitting like at least a 1/4 inch too low in there. And so after racking my brains a little bit, I basically made a new gasket, or pad, that you can see there, and I made it out of like maybe 1.5 millimeters or so thick material. I actually used the rubber that's used to assemble vent windows to vent window frames. It's like very tough, pretty firm rubber. And so basically I just made new pads that were, pretty darn thin, and put those in there, and that ended up being the right spacing where I was able to put this thing together and bolt it together. But yeah, where that is sticking up there, right? I found my flashlight here. Where that's sticking up right there, guys. Yeah, seriously, it's like at least a 1/4 inch too tall. And so yeah, I don't know how does Impy do stuff like this, guys. I don't understand. So I'm gonna have to have a talk with someone over there, because they're costing me a lot of time, and I, at risk of sounding like I'm tooting my own horn, I'm pretty good at solving problems, and I see a lot of stuff like this. But for some poor guy in his garage, with a set of hand tools, who maybe hasn't done one before, and he's putting it together, they may not understand what the issue is, and it's just going to be very hard and frustrating and maybe impossible for them to put their car together. So I don't know, guys. I can work around almost anything. Obviously, I'd rather not have to, but again, I feel kind of bad for people getting products that are kind of defective like that, who may not have the skills or the facilities to problem solve it. So the way that I took care of it now, zero issue. It'll work great for another 100 years plus, and not an issue. But it's, again, more than anything, it's frustrating that I had to sort of like MacGyver up a solution for it. So anyway, got the beam on there, and then pretty much at that point, I'm like, all right, I am done with this front suspension for now. So kind of moved on from there. I did also put his pedal assembly together, which you can see here. It's in a bag, but it's all assembled with a new clutch shaft and stuff like that. Everything's all painted nicely, so that's ready to go in. I'm going to put a new clutch cable in here and a new throttle cable, while the engine and transmission and the pedal assembly, for that matter, are out. So yeah, I'll be feeding those through the tunnel here first, and then the pedal assembly can go back in anytime after that. But yeah, so I went ahead and put that together today. The other thing I did today for this car, which kind of started on yesterday, was I went ahead and assembled these. So this is the vent wing seal right here, the vertical one, and then on the other side is the felt channel. So these go in here, essentially like that. Window slides on this side, vent wing closes against that side. So yeah, went ahead and did those two. So those are ready to go. And I did get the vent wing seals today, the ones that go around there. So I have those now for both this car and for the Baja Bug. So I can finish building the doors on both those cars when I get around to it, I suppose. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened on that one today. Let's get back to regular zoom level here. So pretty much from there, I moved on to this one, and Jacob helped me out on this. I can install a motor by myself, but it's kind of nice to have a second set of hands, second set of eyes. So him and I kind of worked on it together. Before the motor went in, though, took care of a few things that needed to be done that are much easier to do when the motor is out. So one of which was mounted the breather box that he had supplied. So this is bolted to, obviously, the fan shroud. We went ahead and put nut certs into the fan shroud, so no sheet metal screws or anything like that here. This is bolted in with nut certs. And then the other thing we did was we put some nice big holes in his front engine tin there that are big enough to accommodate breather hoses. So breather hoses will come from the valve covers and then run up to the breather box here. Yeah, there's the one on that side. That one there is for the fuel. So yeah, I went ahead and did some of that stuff there before putting the motor in. I have put breather boxes in cars that had motors in them. Much easier to do when the motor's out, if possible. So yeah, anyway, so that's all in and mounted up. And then yeah, from there we went ahead and put the motor in, and I would like to say that it went in easy, but it fought us. It was a fighter. And what happened was, and this is, I had a bad feeling about this. So the rear transmission mounts that he had, the cradle ones that go up on there, when I transferred them from his other transmission to this one, I felt like the studs that stick up into the bell housing, so again, there's a pair of them, they get nuts on them. I felt like they were kind of long, and I was like, well, those look pretty long, but the engine was in the car, there was a transmission, like everything was bolted up. So I kind of just brushed it off. Well, anyway, when we went to put this motor in, we could not get the motor in, and we wrestled with this thing. And then finally we went ahead and, we pretty much had it in, but it wouldn't go in like the last inch. And just no matter how much we pushed or changed the angle or tilted side to side, it would not go. So finally, we pulled it all the way back out, got it out of the way. And I took a grinder and I ground down the ends of those studs. So they were, not flush with the nuts, but, only sticking out, I don't know, a millimeter or two. Ground those all down. And then the motor, with a little bit more wrestling, it pretty much like popped right in, guys. So yeah, I should have followed my intuition on those things. But again, I guess I thought, well, the motor, there had a motor, or this same motor was in there. The transmission, was more or less the same, a different transmission, but the same essentially. And so, figured it would be okay, but it wasn't, and it fought us, and it's 95 in here, and we were wrestling this motor for longer than I would like to admit. But anyway, it is in now. All 4 pieces of hardware are actually, applied and tightened up and everything. So now it's ready to basically build out the rest of the way. We took the breastplate off. I still think I'm probably going to trim it before we put in, because again, it is up underneath the sheet metal of the apron around most of its perimeter here. So we'll probably go ahead and trim that and then go ahead and put that in. And then, put back on the intake. And then once the valve covers go on, I'll route the hoses to the breather box, and then I'll route a hose over to his oil filler here. And then I've got to plumb in his entire fuel system. And then I've got to plumb in his entire oil cooler / filter system too. And then we've got to do something with his steering, which had that exploding red urethane coupler that I showed you guys last week, I think. So still lots of work to do on this, but yeah, it is actually coming together now. And I think, sort of the hard parts are done as far as like wrestling the engine in. Engine actually fit okay. It is an oval window. It is a small engine compartment, but I think especially once we trim this breastplate, then it's going to be fit in there pretty nicely. So that's pretty much it for today. The owner actually stopped by today. I hadn't met him in person. Nice guy, and super excited about his car, and ready to have this thing driving and fun and reliable and all that good stuff that we hope our cool old cars are. So everyone, that is it for today. Appreciate you all very much watching, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye.